a huge game coming. Real Madrid versus Chelsea. In the Champions League semi-finals, it's such a difficult one to call for me. I don't know how you're feeling about it, but Chelsea got that win at the weekend over West Ham, means they can go into it with big confidence. Do you think they'll win it?
Do you know what? I think you've got two Champions League semi-finals here, and one, the stars of both teams are very different. PSG, Man City. This one, it's just really on a knife edge because I feel like they're quite similar in terms of they've both got very strong defenses. Real Madrid have got a great unbeaten run, but have had problems with injuries. The back four, you've got players out in terms of Lucas Vasquez and a few others as well. But then you've got great depth in terms of the players coming back. Ramos, of course, out as well. Stylistically, I think this one goes right to the final minute. And when I look at it, I'm trying to think of it not as one game, that first semi-final. I'm trying to look at it at two. And when I look at the sort of two legs, I think there's not going to be many goals in this because you've got two teams that love a clean sheet. But a week ago, on my channel, I did my predictions. And I just leant and fell over onto Chelsea. And I think I'm going to stick with that because Tuchel's game management has been very, very impressive. And I think you saw that in the West Ham game. I think the biggest talking point with this game, and for me, again, it's not about how it starts, but how he finishes these two ties, is Eden Hazard, who got 13 minutes in the last game against Betis, a 0-0 stalemate. But what do you think about Hazard? Do you risk him? Do you play him from the start? What do you do if you're Zinedine Zidane?
I think this is set up for those of us that love tactics and the small details.
Yeah.
They're going to absolutely love Zinedine Zidane versus Thomas Tuchel. It's really interesting for me. What I would say is with those wing backs at Chelsea, Real Madrid might try and play a little bit more narrow. Toni Kroos is going to return. He's missed the last 3 games as well. He could be pivotal with his long passing range. And of course, his big match experience, not just a World Cup winner, but all those Champions League finals as well. And when it comes to Eden Hazard, 13 minutes off the bench at the weekend, I was thinking, who will Real Madrid play? Because Vinicius Jr., he's been great in the Champions League. He was on the bench as well, and he's been filling in for Eden Hazard. Do they have two dribblers who go at the Chelsea defence, a back three with those two wing backs, try and create some confusion? Possibly, but I think Asensio's performances have really caught the eye, and I think he will get a start. If Eden Hazard plays, both of them will drive centrally. Karim Benzema, of course, will be the focal point, and that sort of takes something away from the ability of those wing-backs to provide an extra defender. That's where I think Zinedine Zidane's going to get some joy. Eden Hazard, on his day, one of the best in the world, but it's been quite a while since we've seen that day. Yeah. Firstly, fitness-wise, and then form as well. He's just not the player so far at Real Madrid that we saw at Chelsea or even Lille before that, to be perfectly honest. He'll want his form back going into the Euros. He'll want to play in these big games. That's why they outlaid so much money for him. At the moment, Eden Hazard is a failure of a signing for Real Madrid. These semi-finals and final could write him into Real Madrid folklore. So he'll want to come on and impress on the fans that he is worth every single penny. Huge few games coming up for him. I hope he stays fit. And I think if he does get the start, he can hurt his former team as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, isn't it? Of course, it being his former team, I'm sure he'll want to play. I think they've just got to be careful with it. And I've read some bits and pieces where it's suggesting that the whole point of Eden Hazard, who hadn't played since March 13th, was to get him back for these games. And so to have him back, I think don't ruin it now by bringing him and starting him. I agree with you. Don't start him in this first game. Bring him on as an impact sub where he can maybe sort of help with the over-reliance that there seems to be on Karim Benzema at the moment. I think Dani Carvajal's got a big part to play as well. His ability to cross the ball with accuracy, to get it on Benzema's head, to get themselves maybe a lead in this game. But I see this one maybe being a draw because I just think it's going to be defenses on top.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.